Hey, what's up guys? James here. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm sitting here reading from the Gilles Deleuze's book on Spinoza, and it's just, I haven't read through it in a while, and I'm just blown away. In the work that I do, I explain that the body is the subconscious mind. So the body is a physical reflection of the subconscious mind, and you can affect the mind and you can affect the body. You can affect the mind through the body, and you can affect the body through the mind. So this is a couple ways to go at it. So if you have emotional issues or any type of mental issues, you can do body work in order to alleviate those symptoms, and vice versa. Here he's talking about how Spinoza is introducing Spinoza as a philosopher who is focused on the body, right? So philosophy is usually focused, obviously, in the mind and the categories of the mind. He's taken it and kind of reversing that. Spinoza does, and Deleuze is remarking of how he reverts, or he puts the lens on the body, and doesn't say that the body is more important than the mind or needs to be, considered over the mind. He's saying that working with the body and the mind can actually have an effect to get you to see what is beyond the mind, what the mind beyond the mind is, and what the body's capabilities beyond what we know it's capable of now. So he's kind of considering here working with both kind of arenas. So I'm going to read here. So Spinoza says, Spinozism, a single substance having an infinity of attributes, all creatures being only modes of these attributes or modifications of this substance. It is not enough to show how pantheism and atheism are combined in this thesis, which denies the existence of a moral transcendent creator God. We must start rather from the practical thesis that made Spinozism an object of scandal. These theses apply to triple denunciation of consciousness, of values, and of sad passions. There are the three major resemblances with Nietzsche, and already in Spinoza's lifetime there are reasons for him being accused of materialism, immoralism, and atheism. But there's so much more interesting. There's so much more that's interesting in what Spinoza says, and especially that Deleuze brings up here, that is way more compelling to think about than labeling him those three things. So the first we're going to talk about here, and this is the only one that I'm going to go through, which is a few paragraphs on the devaluation of consciousness in favor of thought. So it says here, so Spinoza offers philosophers a new model, the body. He proposes to establish the body as a model. Quote, "We do not know what the body can do," unquote. This declaration of ignorance is a provocation. We speak of consciousness and its decrees of the will and its effects, of the thousand waves, the body moving of the body, of dominating in the body of the passions, and we do not even know what the body can do. Lacking this knowledge, we engage in idle talk. As Nietzsche will say, we stand amazed before consciousness, but the truly surprising thing is rather the body. Yet one of the most famous theoretical theses of Spinoza is known by the name of parallelism. It does not consist merely in denying the real causality between the mind and the body. It disallows any primacy of one over the other. If Spinoza rejects any superiority of the mind over the body, this is not in order to establish a superiority of the body over the mind, which would be no more intelligible than the converse. The practical significance of parallelism is manifested in the reversal of the traditional domination of the passions by consciousness. It is said that when the body acted, the mind was acted upon, and the mind did not act without the body being acted upon in turn. This is, and he quotes here, that is he quotes from Descartes, and I'll read that again. It was said that when the body acted, the mind was acted upon, and the mind did not act without the body being acted upon in turn. According to the ethics, according to Spinoza, on the contrary, what is an action in the mind is necessarily an action in the body as well, and what is a passion in the body is necessarily a passion in the mind. There's no primacy of one series over the other. So what does Spinoza mean when he invites us to take the body as a model? It is a matter of showing that the body surpasses the knowledge that we have of it, and that thought likewise surpasses the consciousness that we have of it. So here he's talking about how there's more than meets the eye, obviously, in consciousness and thought, and in what we know about the body. So he says, there are no fewer things in the mind that exceed our consciousness than there is things in the body that exceed our knowledge. So it is by one and the same movement that we shall manage, if possible, to capture the power of the body beyond any given conditions of our knowledge, and to capture the power of the mind beyond any given conditions of our consciousness. One seeks to acquire a knowledge of the powers of the body in order to discover, in a parallel fashion, the powers of the mind that elude consciousness, and thus to be able to compare the powers. In short, the model of the body, according to Spinoza, does not imply any devaluation of thought in relation to extension, but, much more important, a devaluation of consciousness in relation to thought, a discovery of the unconscious, of an unconscious of thought, just as profound as the unknown of the body. So, I love Deleuze. He is my favorite philosopher by far, and I love reading philosophy. I haven't done it in a little bit, actually. But this video, she's talking about this concept that the body is the subconscious mind and vice versa. So you can use this when you have a situation where you're triggered. Try to pay attention what it feels like in your body when you're in that triggered state. Where do you feel it? And then you could use different methods of releasing these body, the way that we hold ourselves and our posture, and the way that we kind of situate ourselves bodily wise. We can be aware of what is causing us to have issues with in all areas of our lives. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope everybody has a good day. Thanks.